Welcome to the Oregon Department of Education's 2021 Child and Adult Care Food Program Annual Training Video Series. The Child and Adult Care Food Program is also known as the CACFP. This series of trainings is required for Oregon CACFP sponsors. This video will provide information on 2021 updates for CACFP center-based sponsors. In this training, we will go over some important dates, what to expect for fiscal year 2022. This is the time period between October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. The current USDA waivers and memos that are still applicable for CACFP, ounce equivalents for grains, and additional updates and reminders from ODE's child nutrition programs, also known as ODE CNP. First, CACFP sponsors should keep these dates in mind. September 29th, 2021 is the due date for CACFP annual training. This training and several others are required trainings for the Food Program Coordinator listed in the sponsor info sheet in CNP Web. The Financial Office Contact listed in CNP Web will also be required to take one training on fiscal management in CACFP. Both the Food Program Coordinator and the Financial Office Contact must complete the trainings and a quiz by this due date. If the Food Program Coordinator and Fiscal Office Contact on your sponsor info sheet is not up to date, contact your assigned child nutrition specialist. On October 1st, 2021, CACFP renewals for fiscal year 2022 will open, and those renewals must be completed by October 15th, 2021. Renewal notice memos will be sent out to the authorized representative and the Food Program Coordinator in September 2021. Now that you know some important upcoming dates, here's what to expect for fiscal year 2022. This year, we will have a shift back to normal. In June 2021, the Office of Child Care notified ODE that emergency child care licensing was no longer needed for child care centers, and ODE released guidelines with the expectation that all schools in Oregon will be open for in-person learning this fall. Once school is in session, school districts will be allowed to operate either the Seamless Summer Option, also known as SSO, or the National School Lunch Program, also known as NSLP. The Summer Food Service Program, also known as SFSP, will no longer be allowed for use during the regular school year. When it comes to CACFP, programs are still allowed to run within regular operations. For after-school at-risk sponsors and Head Starts, this means operating during the regular school year. And for child care centers, adult daycare centers, homeless shelters, and family daycare home sponsors, this will mean operating year-round. There are some USDA waivers that have been extended for CACFP. However, they can only be used on an as-needed basis if your operations are not quite back to normal. We will discuss this in the next few slides. At this time, we anticipate that the waivers that have been released will be the only waivers that will be available this year. No additional USDA waivers are likely at this time. The current waivers available to all CACFP sponsor types allow for non-congregate meals. This is waiver number 87. Meals served outside of regular meal times, which is waiver number 88. And parent and guardian pickups in place of serving children directly. This is waiver number 89. Many sponsors have made use of the non-congregate mealtime requirement and parent-guardian pickup waivers this previous year. In using these waivers, sponsors must ensure that children are not served duplicate meals and an integrity plan is in place. All three waivers will expire on June 30th, 2022. Unlike previous extensions, these three waivers have some new expectations for use. In Memos 87, 88, and 89, USDA stated that the expectation is for sponsors to use the flexibilities only for the duration and extent that they are needed. For sponsors who have all participants on site during mealtimes, the non-congregate mealtime and parent-guardian pickup waivers should not be used. There are some situations where these waivers may be needed, including hybrid schooling, distance learning, or in-person site closures. Your situation may vary, so we encourage you to work with your assigned child nutrition specialist if you have any questions about the use of these waivers. For the meal pattern flexibility waiver, a new waiver took effect on July 1st, 2021, and is more restrictive than previous meal pattern waivers. While this waiver applies to all sponsors, sponsors can only request a waiver on the following meal pattern requirements: the requirement to serve one whole grain-rich item each day, allowing low-fat flavored milk, this is 1% flavored milk, to be served for children 6 years and older or adults, and the use of crediting grains using the ounce equivalent serving sizes by October 1st, 2021. Sponsors who want to use any of these 3 available meal pattern flexibilities must request approval from ODE CNP prior to implementation. Waiver requests must be targeted to the flexibility and demonstrate justified need. To request a waiver, refer to the ODE CNP COVID-19 page for a link to the meal pattern flexibility waiver. Now we have a few memos that only apply to select sponsors. COVID Memo 93 applies only to after-school at-risk sponsors, and it waives area eligibility requirements for site participation. This memo is titled Area Eligibility in the After-School Programs and for Family Daycare Home Providers in school year 2021 through 2022. This waiver allows any sponsors of after-school at-risk programs to serve meals and snacks at any location. This means that sponsors do not need to ensure that sites meet 50% free and reduced price participant eligibility to qualify. If you are an after-school at-risk sponsor and you are looking to add new sites due to this waiver, send an add site form to your assigned specialist and work with the specialist to get the site approved prior to the start of meal service. Keep in mind that this waiver will end on June 30th, 2022, and area eligibility from this waiver will only extend until that date and not for 5 years as usual. COVID Memo 96 only applies to multi-site sponsors. This waiver allows monitoring to continue off-site via a desk audit, although all other monitoring requirements are still in place. This waiver will expire 30 days after the end of the federal public health emergency. As a reminder, multi-site sponsors are required to monitor 3 times a year with no more than 6 operating months between reviews. At least 2 of the visits must be unannounced and 1 must include a meal observation. Monitoring reviews with meal observations must be proportional to the meal types claimed, and the unannounced reviews must be varied in timing so that they are unpredictable to the monitored sites. Sponsors must use the most current ODE CNP CACFP site monitoring form that is available on the ODE CNP CACFP resources webpage titled Forms, Documents, Handbooks, and Manuals. This form was last updated in January 2021. If you want to use an alternate form, reach out to your ODE CNP assigned specialist for approval. All of these requirements still apply and have not been waived by on-site monitoring waivers. Please note that school districts sponsoring at-risk after-school programs must also follow these requirements and use the required ODE CNP CACFP form. If you have questions about this requirement, please contact your child nutrition specialist. Finally, we have the USDA Memo CACFP 04-2021, which applies to emergency and homeless shelters only. This is titled Reimbursement for Meals and Snacks Served to Young Adults in the CACFP, Implementation Guidance for State Agencies. This memo allows emergency and homeless shelters to be reimbursed for meals and snacks served to adults under 25 years of age who reside in an emergency or homeless shelter or an at-risk site that is operating as an emergency shelter. This increases the age range that can be claimed for reimbursement from 18 to 24 years old. This waiver expires after the COVID-19 public health emergency is lifted. Now that we have completed the review of all memos, we are going to review a change to CACFP that will affect all sponsors. Back in 2017, USDA updated the CACFP meal pattern and stated that the grains component would move to ounce equivalent serving sizes at a later date. October 1st, 2021 is the implementation date when ODE and USDA will expect all sponsors to switch to the use of ounce equivalent serving sizes. The switch will mean that grains that were served as a serving size will change to an ounce equivalent serving size. What had previously been 1 serving size will equal 1 ounce equivalent serving size. This change will have minimal operational impact. Ounce equivalent serving sizes are only slightly larger than the original serving sizes. If you are on NSLP already, you are already serving grains using ounce equivalents, and the CACFP requirements for discrediting will be the same as NSLP. Looking at all the age groups, if you were familiar with grain serving sizes, you can see that it's a simple shift from the previous serving sizes to ounce equivalents. Children ages 1 to 2 and 3 to 5 all will receive at least half-ounce equivalents for all meals and snacks instead of the half serving sizes. Children ages 6 to 12 through 13 to 18 will receive at least 1 ounce equivalents for all meals and snacks instead of 1 serving size. Infants are not required to be served solid foods from 0 to 5 months, and so grains components are not required. For infants who are developmentally ready for solid foods, the required portion sizes for grains is half-ounce equivalents. For adults, the minimum portion size is 2 ounce equivalents for breakfast, lunch, or supper, and 1 ounce equivalent for snack, similar to the 2 serving sizes for meals and 1 serving size for snack previously. If you are not currently using ounce equivalent serving sizes for the grains component, you do not need to change your meal service operations entirely. What you will need to do is, first, review the grain items that are listed on your menu and check to see that it meets serving size requirements using ounce equivalents. Because ounce equivalent serving sizes are very similar to the CACFP serving sizes, most grain items should meet the minimum serving size requirements for ounce equivalents already. We will go over some resources that may help you with this in the next few slides. Then, if you have combination foods that have recipes and product formulation statements, make sure that recipes are updated to ounce equivalents, and reach out to manufacturers for updated product formulation statements if they are not already in ounce equivalents. ODE is not requiring additional documentation of ounce equivalent serving sizes on the working menu, and no additional supporting documentation will be needed beyond what is already required for breakfast cereals, whole grain rich items, and combination foods. For more information on ounce equivalents for the grains component, review the CACFP Meal Pattern Success webinar on serving ounce equivalents for grains. This live webinar was presented on August 26, 2020. This video is required viewing for the 2021 CACFP Annual Training as well, and is available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. The link to this video is also available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 memo that you received. If you still have questions after reviewing the ODE CNP ounce equivalents webinar, there are multiple resources available from USDA. The Using Ounce Equivalents for Grains in the CACFP worksheet is reviewed extensively in the ODE CNP webinar, but the handout can be viewed by itself and has a grains measuring chart that has a list of common grain items with appropriate serving sizes for different age groups. This chart is similar to the easy-to-use grains and breads chart that ODE used previously. This handout is recommended to all sponsors since it is the most useful and easy-to-use tool for ounce equivalents. If you have infants in care and are wondering how to credit grain portions for infants, the Feeding Infants Using Ounce Equivalents for Grains worksheet has a grains measuring chart with common grain items and appropriate serving sizes for serving infants 6 through 11 months. We recommend this handout for all sponsors with infants in care. Next, if you are serving a lot of single-serving packaged grain-only items, we recommend the Crediting Single-Serving Packages of Grains in the CACFP worksheet, which provides a grains measuring chart for common single-serving packages. For those who use a lot of recipes instead, the Determining Ounce Equivalents for Grains in CACFP Recipes worksheet has step-by-step instructions for calculating ounce equivalent serving sizes. This is especially helpful for sponsors who bake from scratch. Finally, if you just want to figure out how ounce equivalents is calculated, use the Calculating Ounce Equivalents of Grains in the CACFP worksheet, which also has step-by-step instructions. This is recommended if you have products that are not listed in any of the grains measuring charts, or if you want to have a deeper understanding of ounce equivalents. For most sponsors, just one or two resources will provide them with all the information that is needed to successfully implement ounce equivalents in grains. But if you are looking for additional resources, including PowerPoints for training your staff or viewing instructional webinars, USDA's Team Nutrition webpage on CACFP Grains Ounce Equivalent Resources has plenty of resources for sponsors to look over. It also includes links to all the ounce equivalent worksheets that were reviewed in this training. This link is also available from our ODE CNP CACFP meal pattern and menu planning page. If you are still unsure of starting ounce equivalents, you can continue to use the current grain serving sizes by requesting a meal pattern flexibility waiver. This waiver is available from the ODE CNP COVID-19 webpage link shown on the screen, and requesting a waiver for using ounce equivalents in grains can be granted through June 30th, 2022. Go to the Child and Adult Care Food Program section and open the CACFP Resources tab. The Oregon Meal Pattern Waiver request for July 2021 through June 2022 can be found there. Next, let's move into some updates from ODE CNP. We will review new information about meal accommodations, fiscal management procedures, desk reviews, and reminders for fiscal year 2022. Based on information and recommendations made by USDA's Civil Rights Office and requests from sponsors for a more inclusive form to document meal accommodations for their participants, ODE CNP has made some significant changes to our webpage and forms. First, our special diets page has been updated and is now titled the Meal Accommodations and Modifications page. This page has information and forms that may be used by all child nutrition programs. The forms themselves have also been updated to include a sponsor-only section for better documentation and tracking, as well as instructions for completing the form. This was sent out via a memo from ODE CNP on July 30th, 2021. In addition, what used to be known as the milk substitute form has been updated to include space for other requested meal accommodations for components other than fluid milk. The form is now called the Meal Preference Request Form. New handouts have also been added to the webpage, which provide a quick guide for sponsors, a decision tree for making meal accommodations, and an explanatory handout for participant families defining meal accommodations and providing information on how to request one. Here is the updated medical statement form for medical accommodations. This is a 2-page form with instructions for filling out the form on the second or back page. The first page includes 3 parts that will all need to be filled out completely. This form must be provided to families of participants when they request a medical meal accommodation. Part 2 of the form must be filled out by a state licensed healthcare professional. Older versions of the medical statement are still valid and can continue to be used. New medical meal accommodation requests must use this updated form. The meal preference request form looks similar but is meant for participants with non-medical meal accommodation requests. Like the medical statement, the instructions for completion are on the back or second page. The first page has 3 parts. This form should be provided to the parents or guardians or adult participants to fill out if your organization's policy allows for non-medical meal accommodations. This form replaces the previous milk substitute form. Sponsors who have valid milk substitute forms on file may continue to use the completed form to document milk substitutes made. However, new requests for milk substitutions must use this updated meal preference request form. A comprehensive training on all of these changes has been created and is available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. This training is also required for CACFP Annual Training. The link to this video is also available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 memo that you received. On February 8, 2021, ODE CNP notified sponsors that per Federal Regulation 7 CFR 226.6 B2 7C 2 and 4, all sponsors are required to have written management controls and fiscal policies in place to show the fiscal integrity of program funds and accountability of all expenses. This means that sponsors must have a written fiscal policy that includes CACFP requirements and demonstrates the procedures taken to ensure that program funds are only used for program purposes. While it is a requirement that sponsors have and implement the management and fiscal policy, sponsors are not required to submit policies to ODE CNP unless specifically requested. Part of this year's CACFP annual training includes ODE CNP's Fiscal Management Procedures for CACFP Sponsors training. This training is a requirement for both the Food Program Coordinator and the Financial Office Contact and can be found on the same CACFP Annual Training 2021 YouTube playlist. The link to this video is also available on the CACFP Annual Training 2021 memo that you received. As we begin fiscal year 2022, ODE CNP will continue to conduct administrative reviews as desk reviews. This practice will last, per federal waivers, only until the end of the COVID-19 public health emergency. Sponsors receiving an announced review will be notified as to whether they will receive a desk review or if the review has been transitioned back to in-person. For desk reviews, sponsors will be asked to send documentation via electronic files. All meetings will be scheduled and conducted through Microsoft Teams. Sponsors do not need to purchase Microsoft Suites to have access to Teams. Access to meetings will be provided through calendar invites. As always, unannounced reviews may be conducted as federally required. These unannounced reviews may include in-person visits. As you begin your fiscal year 2022 operations, please remember that there are many CACFP federal requirements still in place, despite current waivers or flexibilities in other areas. These requirements include, but are not limited to, point of service meal counts. Meal counts must be counted at the point of service when the participant receives a fully reimbursable meal. Pre-order meal counts, tray counts, or leftover meal countbacks may not be used as a method for daily meal counts. In-person programs must maintain attendance records. Childcare centers and Head Start locations must still distribute, collect, and maintain child enrollment forms. Childcare centers and adult daycare centers must collect confidential income statements and a 1-month enrollment roster. This may also apply to some Head Starts who have non-Head Start slots. For-profit centers must maintain the 25% free and reduced price eligibility determination. All programs must maintain menus and supporting documentation. Multi-site sponsors must conduct monitoring reviews as mentioned previously. Financial documentation must be collected and maintained for all sponsors. And after-school at-risk sites must continue to offer enrichment and educational activities. Keep in mind that these are not new program requirements. These are regular program regulations. If you have specific questions about your program operations, please contact your child nutrition specialist. Completion of the 2021 CACFP annual training is a requirement of CACFP renewal for all programs. This year, both the Food Program Coordinator and the Financial Office Contact, as designated in CNP Web, are required to complete training. The Food Program Coordinator is required to complete all CACFP annual training videos and submit the annual training quiz by September 29, 2021. The Financial Office Contact only needs to complete the Fiscal Management training video and complete an abridged annual training quiz by September 29, 2021. If the Food Program Coordinator is also listed as the Financial Office Contact in CNP Web, they will need to review all required CACFP annual training videos, but will only need to complete the quiz once. When completing the quiz, make sure to check the role of Food Program Coordinator to ensure you are receiving credit for all videos completed. The CACFP annual training quiz is ODE CNP's method for ensuring that all required individuals complete the annual training. The due date for completion of trainings and submission of the training quiz again is September 29, 2021. The quiz itself may be taken multiple times if needed. Sponsors who score lower than 70% may be contacted by their child nutrition specialist to follow up on any questions or information needed. Please note that a sponsor will not be approved for CACFP fiscal year 2022 renewals until the annual training and quiz have been completed by the required staff. Questions? Contact your assigned child nutrition specialist. If you don't know who your assigned specialist is, this information can be found in the Packet tab of CNP Web near the top of the page. Before we end, here's a short message from the Oregon Department of Education. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner and seeks to work with school districts, education service districts, and community partners like you. We believe all children should have access to a high-quality, well-rounded learning experience. Our stance is that education equity is the equitable implementation of policy, practices, procedures, and legislation that translates into resource allocation, education rigor, and opportunities for historically and currently marginalized youth, students, and families, including civil rights protected classes. This means the restructuring and dismantling of systems and institutions that create the dichotomy of beneficiaries and the oppressed and marginalized. Thank you for taking this training. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.